am I getting emotional? This is about like loneliness, not dating. I think this is a good learning moment, and I'm gonna be super vulnerable on here, and hello. So the sun is going down and I'm in my bedroom, and I really just wanted to talk about loneliness because I feel like I'm very, very comfortable with being alone. If you're not familiar with who I am, basically I've talked about my childhood, which really consisted of no pets, only child, had to always spend time with mom and dad, so much so that it, really was hard for me to socialize during crucial ages. And, you can meet me in person and I'm like the most outgoing gal. We can talk about anything in the world. But I have this like pain of loneliness that creeps in that I always try to avoid because, loneliness is such a horrible feeling, truly. And I've been feeling it, these past couple weeks, and I think there are just so many reasons for it, but I wanted us to kind of like talk about it because I know how to navigate these waters, and I wonder if you do too, and if you don't, like, keep watching because hopefully I can provide some comfort and advice. Right now, I'm somewhat in this like new phase of my life. And it's not, I don't know if it's a good one. And it's really hard. And I'm getting close to my period, so like I may get emo, but I really don't want to because like life is good. I'm very grateful, very blessed. But very recently, and I have not felt this way in many, many years, I have been feeling deep amounts of loneliness because I'm 28 right now. I have been doing life alone for like 4 years, and I've lived alone for close to 4 years. So it's like, I don't know, how do I explain this? It's like I'm in this like accepting phase. If you're the same age as me and you feel pressure to be in a relationship, have kids, be at a different stage in your life, then you get what I'm saying. If you don't, hopefully you can empathize. And I don't know if this is relatable because everyone has their own reasons of feeling lonely. Take it from me, like I can hang out with anyone right now, but I feel so lonely. And I think it's because I have bear with me. I feel like I've stepped into this like new dimension of my life. I feel constant pressure to be in a relationship right now. Like, it's so weird to explain. 100% from my mom, 100% from my dad, just like confused. Like, why aren't you dating anyone? And I know they don't think this way, but they're probably like, like I don't want them to be like, oh, what is wrong with her that she's not dating? And I feel like with that thought, it's toxic. And I feel like, why am I getting emotional? This is about like loneliness, not dating. Well, I think okay, hold on. I think this is like a good learning moment, and I'm gonna be super vulnerable on here, and part of this stepping into this new me is being vulnerable and not really like caring. Listen, for the past couple months, I have been feeling like, maybe doing life alone is just gonna be like my thing because, and look at this, like what a good learning moment. Like, I feel like there are different facets of loneliness, different things that contribute to loneliness. One could be like social media where you're feeling disconnected even though you're connected. I'm in a category right now where it's like expectations of dating life and the pressures of being a woman are so heavy on me right now that I'm feeling withdrawn and lonely. Yeah, so that's really hard to navigate. And I want you, if you're feeling lonely right now, have that vulnerable moment like I just did a second ago. And I really hope I add that in the video because it's embarrassing for me because I'm like, shoot, like, what if a guy that is interested in me stumbles on this video and is like, yikes, this girl. But, my sense of meaning comes from being vulnerable and helping others. So with that, gonna continue. Anyway, so my tip for you right now or after the video is, one of the tips is let's get vulnerable with yourself and find out like what is a category that's adding to you feeling loneliness. Some of you work from home. Oh my gosh. That is like the cornerstone of feeling lonely. So navigating loneliness is definitely difficult. But there have been a few ways where I have been able to kind of creep my head out of the darkness and really appreciate the little moments of life. And one of those ways is, what is something that brings me joy every single day? So for me, and I don't know if this is like relatable or a sign of crippling depression, but every day is grueling. Truly. I think my life is just really boring right now, where like I'm not excited by anything. I also think it's depression. But every day when I wake up, I want the day to end. I think I'm depressed, but I need to like find a way where I find a joy in my day, and it has to be something small, something that I can, get. And I have discovered it, and that little joy is, typically, during the weekday, I'm maybe seeing a friend or two, or like we're gonna do a fun activity, like that's really nice. But the nights that I'm by myself, I have to find that little joy or create it, especially if I'm gonna stay home. For me, for the past couple years, for me, that has been cooking dinner, a dinner that I know is gonna taste good. Ordering out does not hit the same. And I've been ordering out my favorite food. It just like, it's not fulfilling. It's not fun. So I'm like, okay, it looks like cooking a meal, taking time to prep it and cook it. I think that's the ticket that helps me feel like I'm doing an activity. And then I am looking forward to like enjoying it in front of like a show. So I was heavily binging Stranger Things, and it brought me like such peace and comfort. I actually made a list of like my comfort movies and shows, so I can remember if I'm ever in a low, I can watch these and I'll feel better. So if you're an introvert, make a list. So right now, I'm watching Seinfeld, which if you've never watched, it's one of the greatest shows of all time. I've watched it since I was a kid, so it just makes me feel really happy. So that is something that I keep in mind. Okay, so Seinfeld, we can look forward to that tonight. And then cooking a really good dinner. And that gets me like in such a good element. Then I'm like cozy on the couch. I'm eating, and then, I'm done eating, and then I can just go on my phone, go on TikTok, watch videos, and then kind of like slowly bring my night to an end. And even talking about it right now, like my energy is shifting, because I'm like, oh my God, like it's so small, but it's so impactful on my mental health and my mood. Earlier on, I was talking about dating and how I'm just kind of like accepting this life of, doing life alone. I have just accepted it. I'm like, you know what, whatever. And it started to like really interfere with my mood until I started talking about like joys of my day. So that shows me that everything I say is impactful. The next thing is milestones for yourself. This really helps with combating loneliness. And I'll give you an example. So one thing that I have desperately been wanting to do is to watch a movie by myself. I remember I was dating my boyfriend, my long-term boyfriend, a couple years ago, and I was feeling, I think in that whole relationship, I felt really alone. My mom is married, and that girl feels alone all the time. I think a lot of people in relationships feel alone, and I think a lot of people are in relationships, but they're not like the best. And I feel like those people that are dating sometimes are like very alone. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so maybe I shouldn't feel too sad about being single, but anyway, a topic for a different day. So basically, when I was with my boyfriend, I remember I went to him and I was like, hey, like, I think I want to go to the movies by myself. And he was offended. He was so like, why? Why don't I just go with you? And I was like, no, like, it's okay. Like, I'm just going to go by myself. Like, I kind of just want to go to a movie by myself. And I think at the time I was like 23. And he was like, no, like, let's just go together. And it was like, he was very offended by it. And I think like in my heart, I wanted to just like get out of my comfort zone and like do something for me, a little like challenge, because it's like, I don't think that's easy. And I bet some of you are watching this who have gone to the movies or go to the movies by yourselves, and like, like good on you, because that is not, I mean, it wasn't easy to make that like decision, like, oh, I'm gonna go to see a movie by myself. Anyway, so yesterday, I went and had dinner by myself. Granted, it was at Soho House. It was just like a comfort area for me, so I knew I could like start small with that. So I went there by myself. I brought a book, The Bell Jar, very depressing, and I got a glass of wine. And I can't take pictures or videos there, so just imagine this, and it was beautiful. This is what it looks like on the inside. And so I'm sitting there, actually in that area outside, and I'm just like reading a book and having wine. And I kind of looked around a little bit like, this is kind of like, I need to be with someone. But I was like, no. And on the booking site, you make a booking for a movie. It's free at the building. And so the only movie that was showing was Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion, and I've never seen it before. So I was like, okay, so that's gonna be at 7. I'm here at 5. Looks like I have a couple hours to waste. So then I was like, why don't I just like eat food alone by myself? So I did. I ordered a tuna tartare. It was good. It was okay. But anyways, I'm eating it, and I'm just kind of like, this isn't bad. It's like eating with a friend who's not talking. Do you know what I mean? It's getting close to the movie. And I was like, there were 2 times where I was like, I could just go home. I don't need to watch a movie at a movie theater. I'm not even excited about the movie. But I was like, no, you committed and you're gonna do it. So I went downstairs to the movie theater area. I like go inside, no one's in the theater, and I go and pick my spot in the middle, in the back. And there was a moment where I was like, oh, maybe I should go to the far left and just like let other people come and sit. And I was like, no, I have been planning for this for days. I've been excited, and this is my first movie alone. I can only think of myself. I can't always think about other people, which I always do. Very notorious for that. I think about others before myself. Also, like, not very many people showed up, so it was fine. But which I was so glad that I stuck into what I wanted. I was in the middle, back seat. I was very comfortable, and I watched this movie by myself. The act of like, okay, I'm gonna go watch a movie alone. That felt lonely. The act of showing up to the place, knowing you're watching a movie alone, that felt even lonelier. Sitting in the seat alone, oh hell yes, that was lonely. The moment the movie started, it felt good. I was like, this is great. But I will say, it would have been nicer to have like a friend and like feeling their energy and their reaction, but whatever. I digress. Anyway, so whatever. Do you guys know what I'm saying? It's like, that was such a big deal for me. I came home that night and I said to myself, Negeen, I'm so proud of you, because you have been wanting to watch a movie by yourself for the longest time. It doesn't mean I mean like tomorrow I'm gonna go see Elvis with my best friend Kendall. Like, the thing is, having pockets of time with yourself, even though you're alone, doesn't always have to equate loneliness. You can combat loneliness by being alone. Do you know what I mean? You gotta think hard on that one. Like, if I'm alone, I can combat the feeling of loneliness if I have the right entertainment. I'm onto something. I don't like to make sad videos. I hope this isn't sad. I just, this is the reality of living alone. Like, it is kind of like very challenging and very difficult. Like, I have my happy moments. You guys have seen like all of my other videos. Like, I'm pretty much doing great. But I think the hardest part about living alone, and also living alone for a couple years, is being really, really reliant on yourself. That's what makes me feel lonely. A couple days ago, I was really scared being at my apartment. I just felt like, God forbid, someone breaks in. Like, what do I do? And that made me so emotional, because it just like, I can't, I don't know. Like, I just have me to rely on. It's not a very good feeling. I see my friends who are in relationships, and, you know, I see them kind of just like, they have someone that they can rely on. They're sick, they have someone that can bring them, you know, soup or whatever, medicine. But I remember like moments where I was so sick, really, really sick. I had COVID, and then I had a sinus infection. Like, I was getting medicine delivered to me through like Whole Foods, and Amazon, and I've never felt more lonely in my life. Like, I couldn't ask anyone for help, and I didn't even want to, you know, like asking a friend for help for me feels miserable. So, do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Where is I going with that? Oh yeah, relying on yourself. That is so hard. But what I'm like realizing is if I just accept that I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna have my own back, I think life will just get a little bit easier. I think I'm just feeling the weight of the world. I think that's what's it. Like, I feel the weight of taking care of myself 1,000,000,000% financially alone. Don't have any help. That's a lot of pressure. I have a lot of pressure to keep a job so that I can have a roof over my head. I feel a lot of pressure to take care of my mental health every single day so I don't lose it. I feel a lot of pressure to find someone before my eggs freaking dry up and my mom loses hope. I feel a lot of pressure to be a good friend and a supportive daughter and a good daughter, like, and I feel a lot of pressure to create content because if I don't know what else my calling is other than like helping you guys and helping others. So it is a lot of and then I feel pressure to pay my debt. Oh my God. Like, and then I feel a lot of pressure to get a new car for my safety. You know, it's a lot on my shoulders. And I know I have it a lot easier, but the thing that, hey, and I empathize with, if you're struggling worse than I am, let's not compare struggles because that's what's gonna make us super angry and pessimistic. Every single person is struggling in their own way, big, small, and everyone's journey is different. So just remember that if you're ever kind of like starting to get a little bit frustrated, we're all going through the course of life. Oh my God, yeah, and my rights as a woman are taken. So like, does it get worse than that? No. So, yeah. Anyway, the whole concept of this video was navigating loneliness, and even a girl like me whose whole channel is on the niche of living alone, navigating life alone, even I have my challenges, and right now it is a season of loneliness. And let me tell you, and this is advice for me too, and this is something that I know very well is true, every season will pass. Right now, yeah, I'm in a tough one, okay? And I'm feeling all of the feels, but this season will pass just as much as it will for you. Maybe you guys have been in a situation for 6 months or years. It will change. It has to. Nothing remains the same in a sense, like change just happens. And I hope that you find ways to be vulnerable with yourself in the moments of loneliness. Me making this video, I realized what my, what the loneliness factors were for me. And if you forgot, it's the part where I teared up. So if you have a tip on combating and navigating loneliness, comment it down below. If you made it to this point, please comment. If you made it to this point, comment #neveralone, because in a way, you're never alone because you have yourself, and that is the most important person in your life, is truly yourself. And if I had to do the rest of this life with myself, it would suck, but I would do it, and I am glad I get to do it with myself. So don't really know what the concept is, don't really know if this was valuable, but I made it. It was heavy on my heart. I think I'm gonna go have a nice little teary-eye moment and just enjoy my night and make some really good dinner. So I love you guys. I hope this was authentic. Full circle. Okay, love y'all. Bye.